The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour. Today on the AgriLife Extension Hour, we will be featuring Michael Potter with Landscape and Gardening in Montgomery County.
Welcome. You are listening to the Extension Hour here on Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm Michael Potter. I'm the horticulture agent here in Montgomery County with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. Today I have with me I have a special guest with me today. I've got Miss Lucinda Owen. She is a Montgomery County Master Gardener.
Hello,
nice,
Michael.
nice to see you today.
Nice to see you.
And we'll get you situated with a better microphone here. Yep, there we go.
Sorry about that. I had the wrong headset on.
It's okay. That one didn't even have I think you have to use the big equipment over there rather than the smaller stuff, but we got it taken care of now. So, like I said, Lucinda is a Montgomery County Master Gardener. She's with us here today. We're going to talk a little bit about fruit trees, there's a reason why we talk about them this time of year, and we're also going to be informing you about some of the upcoming events that we're holding at the Extension office. And I guess to kind of get us started, Lucinda, we have these fruit tree and nut sales, and we have all this kind of stuff at the Extension office. One of the main things that why do we do this stuff here in Montgomery County? Why do we have these fruit tree sales, and why do we have them when we have them?
Well, we have them when we have them because we sell bare-rooted fruit trees, and this is the time of year starting in mid-December through mid-March where you plant bare-rooted fruit trees. A bare-rooted tree will cost you probably a third to a fourth less money than a container-grown tree. Also, it's a better chance of surviving, and planting them in the middle of the winter gives them time for their roots to settle in, and they need that cold weather to get a good start.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly right. We have situations sometimes where people call and say, I bought this fruit tree. It was in a pot, and it was already greening up, and I went and planted it, and it never quite grew, and it just didn't go right, and that's kind of one of the reasons, bare root trees they're more successful, and the best time to plant those fruit and nut trees is this time of year, and planting them bare root gives us the best success ratio as far as growth and development of that tree.
Well, we've been having fruit and nut tree sales. Well, I've been involved for 10 years. 9 years as a legitimate master gardener and 1 year as an intern. That was a cold year. But I think they've been doing this for a good 20 years here in Montgomery County. And it's always one of our most popular sales. We have 3 sales a year, but this one is the one that seems to be the most popular because we get a wide range of people that are more or less waiting. And if we have a pretty day like we have out here today, they're so excited about getting their trees and going home and planting them, and so it's a great sale. It's my favorite sale of all the 3 we have.
I agree. Yeah, I like it because you never know what the weather's going to hold in store either.
No,
we've been out there some days where there's still dripping icicles off the signs and stuff, and everybody's freezing to death. But it turns out to be a great day. One of the things at being with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, we preach and teach the what's supposed to happen out there, the real stuff. It's all research-based information, and like I said, we put these trees out there. We're doing this sale this time of year because that is the most successful. Our job is to make gardeners successful and give them research-based information. And that not only comes from Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, but also comes through our extension office and through our Master Gardener program here in Montgomery County. So some people, ask us, well, why do you have to have it in January? Well, we have it there so we can help you be successful, number one. Sometimes we get people say, well, that's not the fruit tree I want. I want this other one.
Well, the trees that we sell to the public are trees that are specifically climatized for Montgomery County. And I've been selling, well, and a good example is I sell mayhaw trees in my area. And there's only a certain part of the Texas that mayhaw tree grows. So we may be one of the few master gardeners. You're not going to go to Austin and have them sell you a mayhaw tree, but you will get a mayhaw tree in Montgomery County. Now that's a native tree, but all the other trees are that we sell are specifically climatized for our chill hours here in Montgomery County, and we're very careful about selecting trees that meet the standards.
Yeah, I'll kind of add on to that about chill hours. A lot of people say, well, what is that? And it's really the amount of time that is spent between the degrees of 32 degrees and 45. And most of the trees that you see in the nurseries have a 250-hour, 400-hour, 300-hour designation as far as chill hour requirements. We've got some master gardeners that are very talented individuals, and one of them was showing me lately about all the data that's out there for our chill hours, and we're a little lower this year than we typically are.
Right.
Our weather pattern has been real up and down, and a lot of these hours are done by a West Coast model of calculating chill hours. And it's funny, you kind of think of it as like a wave. If you have a very sloping wave, very nice, you can go over it without getting seasick on the ocean, kind of thing. If you have that kind of situation on a graph that monitors these chill hours, you have a really consistent ability to have good production. What happens in our area, we have these big spikes and dips in temperatures, and you can actually have negative effects on chill hours because it drops below. And for Montgomery County, we're looking at about 728 728 chill hours per year average over about the last 13 years.
And that's affected by 3 years ago we had weather down into the 14s, mm-hmm. and last year we barely got below 32. Right. So that has a big swing there.
Right. Yeah. In fact, those years it drops below that 32, that's kind of a negative impact on those trees too, which does affect production. But for most of the backyard gardeners that want a peach tree, want a pear tree, or something like that, we kind of try to take the guesswork out of it. We have the right varieties that we've even tested our facility available to you at these sales.
Right. We have had many years an orchard that we carry most of the same things that we sell. We have at one time or another had planted in our orchard. Some of those have been torn up lately, but they're going to come back.
Yeah, they'll come back just in a different way. And what she's referring to is that we leveled our complete orchard this year, and we're going to actually be implementing some backyard gardening, so to speak. We're going to implement it just like a home gardener would. We'll have turf grass out there, and we're going to do some demonstrations with turf grass, but we'll also have mounded citrus trees and fruit trees out there that we're going to be experimenting with, and do it more like a home gardener would versus like a full-scale production facility. So I think it'll be a little bit better realistic approach to what we deal with in our county.
I think that's going to be a nice addition.
It'll be great. Yeah, water conservation is one of those things, and it'll kind of show both worlds, a real world application as far as growing fruit and nuts and things like that in your backyard, and then having to maintain a turf grass as well. So that's one of the great things about what we do. And
speaking of water, that's a very important component of planting a fruit tree. Peaches alone take an awful lot of water, and most people don't realize that. Mm-hmm. So a peach tree's production will increase or decrease with the amount of water you put on it. However, then you have to balance that with too much water, which will kill a tree in about a week's time, which I personally have been through. So that's an interesting. So what we'd like to say is the best way to water is to use a drip irrigation system.
Right, and one of the most the important things, aspects of what we're going to talk about, and what I haven't mentioned yet is that we've got an actual class that Lucinda and I will be doing tomorrow morning. In fact, from 9 to 11, we're going to be talking about fruit trees. We're going to be talking about the selection, planting, the pruning, spraying, and care for all these trees, as well as building soil. And you heard me mention earlier about building mounds of soil to plant these trees in. And the reason why we do that is because we want good, drained, well-drained soils, because we don't want them to sit in water.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
no.
You want to be able to control that irrigation.
That's what happened to me last year. I did not control my irrigation. The pipes broke underground, and it lasted a couple of months before we even knew it was even flooding, because they were flooding underground, and I lost one peach tree and 2 olive trees because of and an almond tree because of it. So you have to be careful. I'm in the manner of recommending above ground piping for fruit tree production in nowadays, so at least you can see what's happening.
Yep, we try to do a lot for the community out here. And one of the reasons why we hold these Master Gardener plant sales, this is strictly a fundraiser for this group, and it supports all the programs and supports some of my programs and what we do with the funding, as well as supporting a very large, beautiful facility that is one of the top premier facilities in the state of Texas.
Absolutely.
And we've, any given Wednesday when you come by, there's a herd of Master Gardeners around the Extension office maintaining and developing and research plots and all kinds of stuff going on. And it's really kind of a neat place. And it's been interesting, for me coming from South Texas with always being in a drought situation and coming up here and having a little bit more adequate rain and seeing, the growth and development and also seeing the support we have in the community for what we do. Well,
you've learned that a nemesis is not just drought, it can be rain.
Right, exactly.
But this year our nemesis has been rain.
Right. So we're gonna go on here and talk about some of these things. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm Michael Potter, and I have with me today Lucinda Owen. We're talking about fruit trees. We'll be back in a minute.
You are listening to the Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe, or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and I want to invite you to join me every Saturday morning right here on Lone Star Internet Radio from 8 to 9 for Outdoors with Luke Clayton and Friends. Bill Dance is a frequent guest. Larry Weisser, Mr. Whitetail, is on the show every week. We talk a lot of hunting and fishing and generally have a good time. So remember, every Saturday morning, 8 to 9, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
The East Texas Dream Center is in need of your help. We are a nonprofit Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. We are conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas, 77301, right here in Montgomery County. Our needs are financial and every needs of gasoline, cleaning supplies, laundry soap, Lysol, and whatever else God puts in your heart. To help our ladies and children, please consider a donation. You may visit our website at www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, so you don't forget, it's www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Donations are tax deductible. Remember what Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
You are listening to the Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Extension Hour here on Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm Michael Potter. Today I have a special guest with me, Miss Lucinda Owen, Montgomery County Master Gardener. Glad to have her with us today.
Glad to be here. It's
all right.
fun.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is something we all enjoy. We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't. We were talking about earlier about plants and some of the trees and stuff that are around the area and trees that are recommended for Montgomery County for especially fruit trees. We're going to be having that plant sale here in not too far away. It's actually January 23rd. We'll have a presentation that Lucinda and I will be doing that morning, kind of a live demonstration in a sense, and talking about some of the varieties of trees that we're going to be having and other plants as well. We'll be doing that presentation from 8 to 9, and our actual plant sale will be from 9 to 12 on January 23rd over at the Extension office at 9020 Airport Road. Right across from the Lone Star Convention Center. And talking about that, Lucinda, we've got a whole bunch of trees there listed for our plant sale, and one of the places that people can view this list is at the mcmga.com website. And if you have other questions, besides fruit trees or just questions about gardening in general, you can always call the Extension office at the 936-539-7822, which Lucinda is also a part of our core group out there that answer phones and help the public.
We do, and it's all, that's one of the most, this isn't good English, one of the most fun things that I do out there because I enjoy interacting with the public, and I only do it twice a month, but still, it's always fun, and it's fun to try to answer their phone off the top of your head, or if you have to do the research, then you have to get them back on the phone or mail it to them later on. However, this time of year we get lots of questions about fruit trees, and also we get questions about people bringing in their soil samples for us to run pHs on, because this is the time of year where you start checking that pH, and if you're going to be planting any kind of fruit tree or nut trees or berries, you need to be sampling your pH and making sure that you have the right pH, and do it ahead of time, earlier than the planting day, because you want to make sure you can prepare that soil adequately.
That's true. That's very true, and that's one of the things we'll be talking about tomorrow morning. We've got that fruit tree presentation going on from 9 to 11 at the Extension office at 9020 Airport Road. It's a $5 per person cost, cash or check, welcome at the door. We'll take just about anybody in there and try to help you help answer some of your questions, talk about some of the varieties for you and how to do selection, where to plant, and all kinds of good stuff that we're going to be talking about. And speaking of varieties, Lucinda, we got some interesting stuff this year.
Well, we do. We have some 5 types of apple trees. Now, some people might think you can't grow an apple here in Montgomery County, but you can. Mm-hmm. And these are low-chilled Howard apples. We've got one called Anna. Now, if you buy an Anna, you really need to buy a Golden Dorset to go with it, because the Golden Dorset acts as a propagator for the Anna apple. We also have one called Carnival, which was introduced about 4 years ago. It does not need a propagator. It's a very crisp, sort of a light-fleshed apple.
I stole one this year.
You stole
actually.
one?
Yes, I saw one, and I had to go out there and get it.
What
just to
tree
taste
did
it.
you pick it off of?
It was one of the carnivals. I had to make sure that I had to sample that one.
So, Michael, you can attest it's a good apple.
It's a good apple. It had quite a good production on it, too.
And Pink Lady, now I buy Pink Ladies in the grocery store a lot, and I like them because they're nice and firm and tight and tart. So we do have those 5 different varieties, and apples are easy to grow. They are trained to look like a Christmas tree, more or less. And we'll be talking about how to prune those apple trees tomorrow, and so that you get the best production for them. Something else we have, let's see, peaches. Oh, peach is the leading fruit tree crop of Texas. There's more peach trees in Texas than in any other variety of fruit tree. We have some standard ones that we've always carried: Mid-Pride, Red Baron. Red Baron's not a great eating peach, but it is an outstanding blooming peach. It just takes your breath away.
It's also a good canning peach.
Good canning, right. And then we have some new peaches this year. We have Tex King and Tex Star. They're both low chill, 450 to 650 chill hour peaches. And we have another one that's an earlier developing peach called Tropic Snow, and that is a white meated peach. So those are and we have a few miniatures that if you don't want to get on a ladder and cut your trees or break your neck if you're falling off the ladder or something like that, we have 3 types of miniature trees. We have a Honey Babe miniature, an El Dorado, and a Bonanza. I personally have grown the Bonanza, and it's done very well for me. So I'm familiar. But those trees, they're not over 4 feet tall.
Yeah, they're short in stature.
And can be put in a container if you want to.
That's correct.
Okay. Pears, we have the standard pears. We have a few Asian pears, and we have the Kiefer pear, the Southern King. A very old pear that people tend to really like is the Tennessee pear, and they're very. Those are good. All of those are good eating pears. Well, of course, we have pecans, and these. Most people don't realize that depending on where you live is the type of pecan you plant. But we have our pecan trees that we have 5 of them, and they have all been handpicked to grow in Montgomery County too. Plums. We have, a plum is kin to a rose. Did you know that? You're laughing. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, it was one of those little things I kind of giggled at when I first heard it, too. I said, you're kidding me. And then I had to go research and figure it out.
Right. Don't see the connection, but that it is there. So we have a Catalina plum, which is a white meated plum with a dark purple skin on it. Mariposa, which is always good, and that's an early more or less an early blooming plum. It's in June. A Methley plum is also extremely good. Now, and Santa Rosa plum, the problem with plums, and it's not a problem with them, it's just that you need to plant 2 different varieties of plum. And traditionally, it's better to get 2 early ones, 2 late ones, because they propagate each other.
Right. Yeah, the one good thing about plums in our area as well is that we've kind of got a built-in mechanism, especially if you live close to a forest area or something like that. You've got the native Mexican plum that's actually a pollinator as well. And even though some of these that we're selling require a pollinizer, so to speak, they are self-fruiting. Your production will just not be as good. Or you won't have as much product out there if you don't have another one. But we're finding it more with the plums that you need another pollinator out there.
Well, we've always told people if you only want to buy 1 pear tree, and you have a Bradford pear anywhere in the neighborhood, even doesn't have to be on your property, just somewhere floating around the neighborhood, that acts as a pollinator for pears.
Right,
too.
right, exactly.
Let's see, grapes. Grapes happen to be sort of a favorite of mine because I have 50 grapevines at my ranch in Central Texas, and I'm trying desperately to have enough grapes to produce some wine, but I'm not I'm not actually doing too well on that. However, we have in this area the rootstock on grapes are normally on the muscadine rootstock, and that's what we have. 5 of our grapes are the Darlene is a bronze grape. Granny Bell is a self-fertile, early ripened grape. Fry Seedless is a muscadine red, and the Ison is a muscadine black. And then we have another bronze called Late Fry muscadine. We have a new grape this year.
This one's exciting.
This one's extremely exciting. It took me 4 years to get my first Victoria red grape. No one in Texas sold them. So our Barbara Lopez, who does all of our buying for us, reached out all the way to New York. And these grapes, we may be one of the few master gardening groups that's actually selling Victoria red grapes, and they are quite in demand. But they are a grape that's a great table grape. They also are going to be, they think that you're going to be able to use it as a filler grape when making wine, mixing it with a Chardonnay or with a Merlot. And so it's, all of our grapes are Pierce disease resistant. Can't guarantee, but they are resistant. And we'll be talking about how to plant those grapes and how to train those grapes tomorrow.
All right, that's correct. Yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow morning from 9 to 11 at 9020 Airport Road. We'll be at the Extension office from 9 to 11. It's $5 per person at the door. Cash check will be accepted there. And we kind of even have some snacks for in between. We kind of take a mid-morning break to kind of give our voices a little break and regather our thoughts, because
that's encouraging.
Yeah. But we'll be talking about some of the things that we've got in the plant sale, and there'll be some other things that we've got there. We'll actually have some avocado trees.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yep, and that's a favorite.
We have two. We have fantastic avocado and opal, and we have off and on over the last 10 years that I know of, we've carried them. Some years we have, some years we haven't, and normally it depends on the weather conditions outside whether we've carried avocados, but we always have a good group of people coming and hunting for the avocado trees. They're self-fruiting. Take full sun, don't necessarily like a lot of wind, but Michael knows more about avocados than I do. I have taken care of them, but he's from that part of the world that they practically grow wild.
Right, yeah, that's it's one of those things. The kind of downside to an avocado is, especially if you have in our previous horticulture agent Tom, he had one in his backyard. He said the worst part about having an avocado in the backyard is you got to fight the squirrels off to get to the avocados. And he said he finally got one 2 years ago. So you get one and that's it. So it's one of those things that we can grow here. It's got a good root stock on it that's real cold.
My understanding with them too, that if they do freeze, you can cut them down to the ground, and that if the roots are not damaged, it'll come back up. Is that right?
In some cases, it depends on some of the varieties. These are all most of these are all grafted onto a specific rootstock, so you got to be careful how far you cut them down. But you're listening to the Extension Hour, and we're here at Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm Michael Potter, County Extension Agent for Horticulture here in Montgomery County, and we've got Lucinda Owen, Master Gardener, with us today, and we're talking about fruit trees and some of the upcoming events and fruit and nut trees that we're going to have at our fruit and nut tree sale here in January 23rd. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Extension Hour on Lone Star Internet Radio every Friday afternoon at 1 p.m.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages. From karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
You are listening to the Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Extension Hour here at Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm Michael Potter, County Extension Agent for Horticulture with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. And we have with us today Lucinda Owen, Montgomery County Master Gardener. And we're here talking about fruit trees and all kinds of stuff that we got coming up as far as events and classes and plant sales and all kinds of good stuff that we got for the public here in Montgomery County.
Well, we want to talk about blackberries.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yeah, mine too. And it seems to be everybody's favorite. We have 4 different varieties of blackberries this year. Kiowa, which will have the largest berries on them, and probably the most prolific. The one drawback is it's got thorns. Mm-hmm. So if you have a huge aversion to thorns, and I do know some people that can't handle thorns, don't buy the Kiowa. But if you want a really good berry, that is probably one of your best buys. Arapahoe, Natchez, and the Ouachita are all really great thornless blackberries. They can be trained up on a trellis. All of these were developed out of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. If they have an Indian name, they came out of Arkansas. They do great all over the state of Texas. They're not picky about their pH. They're not picky about their soil conditions. You just have to, basically, after they've fruited, you cut off those dead canes. If they fruit on a cane, then that cane's going to die. Cut it off immediately, and next year you have another crop. Some of the thornless ones they'll start losing their productivity in about 5 years. But the good thing is they send up little shoots, and you can take those shoots and have a whole new plant. Mm-hmm. So everybody loves a blackberry. Blueberries. Blueberries are my favorite. I adore blueberries, and
they're picky though.
Well, they're picky. They got to have. Yes, they are. They have to have acidic soil. They like it around the pH to be around 5.5. If your pH is higher than that, you need to really consider a raised bed, or do like I do in alkaline soil over in Central Texas. I grow them in cattle tubs in pure peat moss. But they start producing in June. You can have from June through July. You can have, if you space out your early, mid, and late, you can have blueberries the vast majority of the summer. They freeze well. They're good for your brain power, I'm told. The birds, they have so many blueberries on a bush, the birds can have some too. Mm-hmm. And you don't miss a lot of them. So I think they're really a good crop. We have...
Don't just buy one, though.
No. In fact, I always recommend people buy 3 different varieties, and that way, if one variety dies on you, then you have 2 left, because you have to have at minimum of 2 varieties to propagate each other. So that's something you have to do. And you certainly want to have like maybe 1 Premier, 1 Southern Belle, 1 Gulf Coast, but 3 different varieties. If you have all the same kind, you're not going to have any blueberries. What else? We have the citrus. One of the most popular items we ever carry are the citrus. We have Rio Red grapefruit this year. Probably the best grapefruit. Of course, Texas is known for its grapefruit anyway. We have a lot of things that California and Florida are better at, but they're not better at grapefruit. And so we have Rio Red grapefruit. We have kumquats. Kumquats are interesting, and number 1, they make a pretty bush. Number 2, they'll take freeze down to about 19 and come back. We have Meyer lemon. We have a pink Spanish variegated lemon. Now, that would be a lemon if I was going to raise it, I'd put it in a pot, because that particular lemon is cold sensitive, and they don't like it down to about much below 28 degrees. Right. Mexican lime is the same thing. They're great little lime. They're small. They're not like the big Persian limes you buy in the grocery store.
Key lime type.
They're the key lime, but they've got a lot more juice in them. But they also need to be put in a container so that if you're going to have a hard freeze, a really hard freeze down into the teens, you need to bring the pink Spanish variegated lemon and the Mexican thornless in to your garage or somewhere and cover it up. We also have the Republic of Texas orange. We've sold this orange for a long time. People seem to like it. I haven't had great luck with it, but that's just, I don't think it likes where I planted it in Central Texas, that's all. And then we have a mandarin orange, which I do like, and this is a seedless Kishu mandarin, and it really is a good mandarin orange. It's got a sweet flavor to it, a loose skin so it peels easy. And then we have a Wari Satsuma, which also has a loose skin. It peels easy. All of the citrus trees have been very popular in this area, particularly Meyer lemon. And so I think that one of the first, when the crowds break at 9 o'clock, on Saturday morning, the 23rd, the first group will head straight for the citrus, and they always do.
They'll be gone in 30 minutes or less most of the time.
Doesn't take long. Doesn't take long at all.
And the good part about most of these citrus that we have, the technology has gotten better, and the selection has gotten better on root systems, and we've even got an A&M, actually. We've got another satsuma that's coming out. It's called Orange Frost, and that one we can't get a hold of yet because they're still producing or trying to get production up enough to distribute it.
Actually, that's the one I have.
The Orange Frost?
Well,
I've got one too.
But I got it directly from A&M.
Yeah,
they are good.
It's always good to have something somebody else doesn't. And that's what anybody that ever purchases my house after I leave it, they get a lot of things they don't know where they came from.
Right.
But yeah, it's something that's coming up in the near future. We're more than likely going to put that one out on our plant sales, and it's got an exceptionally good rootstock, and they say it can survive 18 degrees or something to this degree, and so we're kind of anxious to see that in the near future.
Right.
But we also have another little kind of hidden gem in there called the Itzall Summer Raspberry, and that sucker's coming out. We have some master gardeners that have been growing it, and they've said it's pretty darn good. It's for our area, and it's a rambler. It's something that sprawls around. You kind of want to let it just kind of be wild and be itself. It's not going to be something that's deer resistant, of course. It does attract wildlife, but it's a good little raspberry that produces. They basically say all summer long,
really,
and into the fall. So they say about October, November is when it stops producing. So you get a good long production out of it.
That would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to buy me some of those.
They do say give it some room. Let it. It's going to get 4 or 5 foot. Kind of like a big bush, and just let it ramble.
Wow.
And that's what they call it. So, but we're here today talking about some of the things that we got in our plant sale. We'll also have some onion sets available, and something when I came into the extension office here, we every year Tom Leroy, my predecessor, would plant a whole bunch of bluebonnets, and it's something that we sell because it's the right time to transplant them and put them out in your landscape. We kind of get the guesswork started for you, and there's a reason behind that. If you just take wild seed from the bluebonnets and spread it out, you only get about 30% germination. And we're getting treated seeds that are scarified and already done, and we're able to have better production as far as what germinates and what doesn't. And the cool thing about what we got this year is we got virtually 3 different types that are kind of mixed in there. We've got just the regular Texas bluebonnet, and then we've got a Royal Texas bluebonnet.
Oh,
that's the one out of Lady Bird Johnson.
Right.
And then also another one that was my favorite, there is a red bluebonnet.
That's the Aggie bluebonnet.
No, this is a red. This sucker's cherry red.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
We would say that's an OU bluebonnet.
Yeah, I don't know if it came from them. I sure hope not, because then I might have to throw it out. But no, no. All kidding aside, it's a cherry red. It's a beautiful red bluebonnet. And, it can be mixed in there, and you can kind of do some cool things with bluebonnets.
You can.
And we got a whole bunch of them. In fact, they were the ladies in the greenhouse were looking at. Because Tom had typically done these things, and they didn't know I knew how to do it. But I had really good germination with these things, and we have a lot more than what was expected. So
I've seen them sitting out there, and they look like they're in good shape.
They are in good shape. We'll also have some strawberries, and you can tell us a little bit about those strawberries.
I can tell strawberries. I didn't do the strawberries this year because I was out of the town or country or somewhere, but. I was somewhere, but the Camarosa, I have done the strawberries the last 5 or 6 years, and this is a good strawberry. And I will say this, I saw the plants the other day out at the extension office, and they look like that's a good crop too.
Yeah, they're looking good. We had some planted out in front of the education building over there, and they planted them a couple of years back, and every year they kind of thin them out and take out the old ones, and the new ones that come up, they leave those, and they keep producing every year.
They do that. One thing is, this time of year in January, if you've got strawberries planted or you're going to be buying some and planting these plants, this is the time of year you start feeding them with liquid fertilizer. Your foliage feeding. If you do that every 2 weeks, you will have really good strawberries.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that's a favorite. Besides the blackberries, I've gotten my hand slapped a few times walking through the gardens picking the blackberries. So, but that's okay. I can. And actually, what I'd do is I'd wait till everybody leaves, and I'd go peruse the blackberry.
Maybe
farm,
this year they can slap your hand on the raspberries
yeah,
too.
exactly. They'd probably do that too. But and we're here today talking about the fruit and nuts and some of the other berries and stuff we got in our plant sale coming up here on January 23rd. 8 to 9 will be the presentation. 9 to 12 will be the sale. We also have a fruit tree class tomorrow at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Cost is $5 per person at the door at the Extension office at 9020 Airport Road. I'm Michael Potter, and we got Lucinda Owen with us today. We're talking about fruit trees. We'll be right back.
You are listening to the Extension Hour on irlonestar.com.
The East Texas Dream Center is in need of your help. We are a nonprofit Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. We are conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas, 77301, right here in Montgomery County. Our needs are financial, and every needs of gasoline, cleaning supplies, laundry soap, Lysol, and whatever else God puts in your heart. To help our ladies and children, please consider a donation. You may visit our website at www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, so you don't forget, it's www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Donations are tax deductible. Remember what Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
You are listening to the Extension Hour with Texas A&M AgriLife. Visit us online at montgomery.agrilife.org.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. It's Michael Potter here with the Extension Hour here at Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm the County Extension Agent for Horticulture here in Montgomery County, and today we have Lucinda Owen with us. She's a Montgomery County Master Gardener and one of my kind of co-workers. We get to do some things together, and I've got Master Gardeners that are very talented, and they have specialties, and sometimes it works out, and I think it's even better sometimes when we get to collaborate and do things together rather than everybody just hearing from me all the time. And
that could be true.
Yeah, that could be. I think it is sometimes. It's good to see a different face, so to speak. So, but we're here today, talking about some of the fruit trees that we have in our fruit and nut sale, and we're also talking about we've got a good program coming up tomorrow morning over at the Extension office. The cost is $5 per person at the door. We'll be at 9020 Airport Road. It'll be over in the education building over there at the Extension office, and we're going to have a fruit tree class, and it'll be something both Lucinda and I will be discussing for a while.
We're both experts on nuts. We're not sure about the fruit part.
Exactly. Well, there's a couple of fruits around there too. But yeah, we'll be having fun doing that, and it's something we enjoy, and we hope the public comes out and gets to kind of take advantage of some of the education that we provide through Extension. We've also got and I kind of want to take a little bit of time here and you're probably going to hear my voice more than Lucinda's, but we've got a great spring garden series coming up. When I got here a few years ago, I noticed we weren't really doing a lot of outreach education stuff, and I said, you know what, we've got to do some stuff. And we put it together a group of master gardeners that were really interested. In fact, they're past teachers and administrators and educators, so they thought it'd be a great idea, and they kind of took the reins and said, this is what we need to do, and I couldn't agree more. We scheduled a group or almost a series of spring talks around what happens that time of year, or when you kind of need to start thinking about things. And of course, here we are talking about fruit trees and things like that, and we, of course, talking about January 16th tomorrow, having the fruit tree class, and all these classes will be at the Extension office, and the ones that I mentioned will be $5 per person at the door. I'll be talking next month, February 20th, about lawns, grass selection and soil preparation, and we'll be talking about your turf grass. We're talking about how to maintain it and what to do, when to do it.
And let me tell you, when I answer the phone twice a month at the Extension office, and we get more calls on grass than anything. We get more people bringing in their grass, saying what's wrong with it, especially if they think they have take-all patch or something. And so I think if people really want to know how to handle their grass, and it's getting harder and harder every year, that'd be a great class for anybody.
I could end it in about 5 minutes. Yeah. I could make everybody walk through the door, sit down, and say, okay, guess what? You just love it too much. Because they kill it. They overdo it.
They mostly overwater it, don't they?
That's exactly right. We just love it to death. That's what we do. Well, we'll be talking that on February 20th, and then also the following month, on March 5th, we're going to be talking Gardening 101. I've got some group of vegetable specialists, the master gardeners there, that will be talking about basic aspects of gardening and planting and herbs and everything, for vegetables for Montgomery County. And wow, look at that timing on that. We start thinking about gardening about March 5th, so the timing is perfect.
It should be the frost line.
Exactly. And I think last year we had an April 1st freeze.
We did. We did.
Yep. So.
But I think Easter's early this year.
Yeah.
And that's going to help.
Yeah, that's going to help, hopefully. We also, in April 2nd, we will have an entomology class. That's going to be kind of interesting. We've got some master gardeners talking about whatever gardener needs to know about entomology and looking at the insects around the house and good bugs, bad bugs type thing. And it's that time of year. It's perfect timing.
It is.
And then April 23rd, we're going to do some water conservation, because that's when we start thinking, as well as most people start thinking, I better turn up the water. It's getting hot outside. Right. And there's some things we're going to talk about, irrigation methods, and learn how to properly maintain your irrigation system, and using water conservation, really, rainwater harvesting.
We all need water. Is expensive. And if you live in the Conroe Woodlands area, where you have been restricted on water for several years now, come summertime, this is a class which you really need to pay attention to. I'm just now starting, you know all about rainwater harvesting, but I'm just now starting in my earth kind garden out there to understand and deal with rainwater harvesting. It's I think, probably the coming wave.
It is.
If we can get the rain.
Right. If we can get the rain. If you don't get the rain, you don't have the water. So what are you going to do? Mother Nature takes over. That's something we got coming up in April, and then we're going to, on May 14th, we'll have an open garden day, and we'll be kind of giving you more information on that as we get closer to it, and that's a good chance for the public to come out to the Extension office and walk around the facility, ask master gardeners questions that have the different areas out there.
And that is a beautiful time for our gardens. Our gardens are spectacular in May.
Yeah, we have 2 of those a year. We're doing one in the spring and one in the fall. We want to show the public, you can still have color in the spring, and you can still have it in the fall. So it's a good chance to come out there. And one of the other things we got coming up is an aquaponics workshop. Aquaponics is kind of a good system of using fish that basically taking the water from the fish and using it to fertilize the plants, and it's a great system. It's really neat, and we got that coming up on March 19th. And if you want more information on most of this stuff, that class, the aquaponics class, they're going to be giving away aquaponics system. But the cost of the class is $75, but it's very well worth it. That system alone is over $600.
I started to say that's an expensive giveaway.
Right. These will all be at the Extension office. If you want more information for that, you can go to mcmga.com, and you can get that information off our website. You can also get information about our upcoming plant sales and the garden classes that I just mentioned. And we'll also be doing this same type of scenario, I guess, in the fall, and that'll help us out tremendously. But we got coming up, we got our fruit tree class tomorrow morning from 9 to 11. We hope to see you there. Cost is $5 per person at the door at 9020 Airport Road.
That's right. We'll be showing you how to cut those trees.
Darn right. And if we don't base prune, we'll be pruning them just a little nicer than what you'd expect them to be. So thank you very much for joining us today here at the Extension Hour. We're here at Lone Star Internet Radio, and y'all have a wonderful day, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you, Lucinda, for being with us today.